Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Buenos dias. It's still this evening, Tardis. Good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing? Bless up, everyone. Bless up, bless up, bless up, bless up. Triple E, Drew Ross. Drew Ross, where were you? Bless up, Drew Ross. And thank you for being number one supporter, even though I think you pad the ballot boxes. Because before the game was leading, all of a sudden the thing just changed. So I don't know who you get to vote for you. But all this fear in love and war. And I guess that voting process is war. How's everyone doing? Good evening, good evening. I have a lot to talk about this evening, actually. Obviously, we're going to do a recap of yesterday's game. Talk about some of the challenges that were faced. Talk about the performance of the team. Go through the press conference that the coach held. But as you know, I have my normal introduction and a theme. So, yeah. Yeah, you're a Man U fan and a Drew Ross, so nothing is beyond you guys. Bless up, Conroy. Thanks for joining, Jerome. Jerome said he wants his money back. Sorry, there's no refund, Jerome. You know the fun thing about that? We get into that. But you know the funny thing about that is we had this conversation with people when they were pricing it, and I had the conversation with them. And if you guys heard the press conference, I asked some of these same questions. And I was giving examples like Netflix with Mike Tyson fight and all that. The mistake people are making is that Netflix already have their reputation for delivering quality, both content-wise and the stream that they provide. If you have limited content, you have a high price, your price is a premium, and your product is not fit for purpose, it's not a good thing. Now they're trying, and I'm glad that they're doing something different from before, but they got to reconsider what they're doing. All right? They got to reconsider what you're doing, because what you don't want is an unhappy customer base who's just going to get turned off when you deliver a product that is not fit for purpose. But we'll get into that. Let me just discuss a few things that's on my agenda that I want to talk about. First of all, I have to talk about my favorite person in the world, Mr. The Orange Man. And the Orange Man is in rare form, people. But you know what? We knew what Project 25 was going to be about. We had an idea. It was out there. I didn't read all 900 pages of it. Just don't have time to do that. But conceptually, we know where it's going. If you follow pattern of behavior, if you follow the former and current president's life history, if you follow some of the things he did in his first term, if you follow the people who surround him and those who are his advocates, then you understand what MAGA means. It doesn't mean make America great again. It means make America white again. Now, that may sound bad in some people's eyes and sound bad in terms of how people view certain things, but I can understand why we have some of the behaviors that we have and why people are operating a certain way. Good evening, Crank. Triple E. You got your scrabbling in DC. Yeah, Triple E. Don't work for the government. Good evening, Paul. Bless up 1-1. So I can understand why. And I've used this analogy before. So think about it this way. People are having this really bad throat problems. I got to talk about this because if you heard me on the stream yesterday and me always clearing my throat, somehow it's a continuum. I got to go to the doctor because I had a really, really bad case of COVID, and I have COVID remnants from that. And if I talk too long, I have to be clear in my throat for some reason. I have no idea why. Maybe I should get more guests on my program so I can talk less, actually. But let me go back to Trump. So let me give you an analogy. So say Jamaica is 85, 90% Caucasian. Black, right? No, maybe that way anyway, the way Trump is going. Okay, so it's a tropical paradise. And say the population went from 90% to 85% to 80% to 75% to 70%. You and I, who are Jamaicans, I can't tell me I'm not Jamaican no more. You and I, who are Jamaicans, would say this is an issue. We will soon not be the majority, right? Then what's the implication for our people in terms of voting, in terms of running the country, in terms of making decisions, in terms of having autonomy in our own country, right? And that's part of the issue you have here, where the projection is by 2050, the Caucasian population will not be the majority if things continue the way they are. Because what you have in the Western world is, and you've seen this in Western Europe quite a bit, is that the population are not having the birth rate they had before. If you have 2 kids, less than 3 kids, your population is not increasing. So you look at Japan, you look at Italy, you even look at China, who was a 1-child requirement at one point, and now they're pressuring women to have kids. So if your population is declining and you think you're losing majority, there are going to be people in the country who are saying this can't happen. We have to reverse that. How do you reverse it? You try to increase the birth rate, which you can't force people to do, which is not happening, which is what China is struggling. You try to reduce immigration because the population coming in are probably not as economically well off. And they're the ones who seem to have more kids, which is a contradiction, but it happens, right? You come up with more draconian laws to restrict people's access to things who have the minority. So you find ways to keep down the minority and to maintain your population or increase your population, which then allows you to maintain your dominance, allows you to maintain your majority, allows you to run the country and have the autonomy that you want to have. There's also the second aspect of this, which is more about the superiority complex and the privilege aspects concept that comes with being the majority and comes with being Caucasian. That's not debatable, frankly. And it's also, there's a third point, which is I'm just plain racist. I have a superiority complex. I don't like people who are not like me. And so I'm going to do what I do and keep them down as much as possible. Now, if you think about government services, proportionally, there are more blacks probably in the government than there are any other group. You go look at a lot of city agencies, especially in cities. You go look at the federal government, maybe proportionally more blacks in there. So if I reduce those groups, not the ones that necessarily go overseas like USAID and all that, because blacks ain't going to no Africa and working in no jungle in majority. We're not doing that. In a lot of different disciplines in the government, you have a lot of people who are brown and black in those organizations, not Caucasian, proportionately. The numbers in total may be more Caucasian, not in terms of percentage. So if I can somehow disadvantage those groups, yeah, there'll be some casualties in the mix. Like you go to war, you say, you know what, civilian casualty or collateral damage. It's collateral damage, but I'm going to benefit my people, my quote unquote, my people. And it's really interesting dynamics and where things are going and what's going to happen. So those of you who are of our persuasion and you voted for Trump, I hope you got what you wanted. This congressman from Florida, what's his name, Byron, Jamaican heritage, who thought he was going to get a position. He stumped for Trump. He spent all this thing for Trump and then realized, man don't like you. Man don't want you. Man don't like the people who look like you. He may have friends like Lawrence Taylor and Herschel Walker and Mike Tyson, but he used them to generate income when he can in whatever discipline they are. At Herschel Walker playing for the New Jersey Generals. Yeah, he was the adoration with Tyson because of what's in Vegas. You don't like them. They're money-making machines. They can help him generate some income. So he doesn't really care about them. So in essence, you get what you ask for. And it's only going to get much worse. Now, from an immigration standpoint, there's so much comment out there about immigration. So much comments about immigration, don't travel. I got a call from my sister today, my niece and nephew, who are not permanent resident. They shouldn't go to Jamaica. I'm like, why? Some story going around saying somebody's coming back from Jamaica. They asked them to fill out some form, I guess a form 407, which is to revoke your immigration status. I know they can't come back in the country. I did look at the form. I did review the form. I wasn't totally familiar with the form, actually. But I just feel that from a legal standpoint, it doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, you can revoke your citizenship, you can revoke your immigration status, but nobody can force you to do it. So you shouldn't be signing anything unless you read it. And if you can't read, make somebody else read it for you who you trust, right? But it's only going to get worse, people. This is just the beginning. Obviously, they came in with a flurry of stuff just to confuse and discombobulate, but they're being accommodated by the media, including some of the liberal media like the New York Times. Don't get it twisted. They're now using euphemisms, which is dumbing down the language that they used to use to get in, because nobody want to be left out, because it's about making money. That's what these newspapers are in business for. So it's really interesting how that's going to go. So it's not a good time, actually. And so if you see me in Jamaica spending a lot of time, don't be surprised. Even though they probably don't want me back. We can't go nowhere, no people. They don't want to be at Jamaica, and they don't want to be at America. Where we all go? When I see. One said, this is what happens when empires fall. Britain fell and the US is falling right now. Broke pocket people always look for people to blame immigrants. Yeah, I mean, look, every dominant society, every dominant group at some point, whether you go back to the Roman Empire, even before that, eventually somebody comes by and take your place, right? If you're in sports, which is a probably example, you're Man City, somebody's gonna take over from you. If you are in politics and you're the prime minister, somebody may beat you out eventually. If you're a dominant country, like you are the US, and you've been dominant since World War II, it's almost 100 years or 80 plus years. At some point, somebody's going to come along. And frankly, you shouldn't be dominant because your population is 1/4 or 1/5 the population of India and 1/5 or 1/4 the population of China. And if everything is being equal and everybody produces the same, you should be producing 1/4 what those countries are producing. And yet you have the largest GDP. So that doesn't make any sense, people. It's not logical. That's why China has a chance to overtake the US in the next 5 to 10 years in terms of GDP and in terms of its position. So yeah. Stop crying, cranky, let us make this money. I don't know what you're talking about, Muswin. You're confused. Your ass gonna be in Jamaica talking about making money. You're gonna be on the beach in Jamaica. You might even be on the beach because those beaches are owned by foreigners. And I did do a video on. I did a video like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't published it yet. On when Trump said, China should get out of Jamaica, and Jamaica is a pawn in China and US. That's how it normally works. Just like I do a pawn with Cuba, Russia, and Castro in the days of Michael Manley. They're in that middle, and they need to get out of the middle. You get crushed. Elephant gonna stomp on you if you don't find a way to navigate out of that problem. We don't get crushed. Actually, sometimes we're gonna be collateral damage. But Trump doesn't like anybody who's brown, who's not Caucasian. So when we see, I saw somebody the other day who had on a Trump thing in the back of him. ICE was taking him away, and he had vote for Trump on his back. And I was laughing, thinking, you're not even a citizen. You talk about vote for Trump. You're a moron. And I find that very funny. And here's what's funny. So they're targeting certain neighborhoods, right? They'll target the wineries in California, the fields in California, the iron groves in Florida, the construction industry. Nobody's going to Boston in the Irish community. Nobody going to Brighton Beach in Brooklyn in the Russian community. You know why? Because they're Caucasian community. They're not looking for Caucasians who are illegal. There are a bunch of Caucasians who come here, who are illegal, who are in certain communities. They're not looking for them. I know we came to talk about sports, and we have a lot of sports to talk about. This is a 3-hour program, by the way, because I already figured that out. It's going to be a 3-hour program today, because I've been away for a little while, so I'm going to talk for a while. So nobody's going to this community and check to see if they have illegals. They don't care. They look like them. All these Western countries, all these countries, industrialized countries, all these Caucasian countries have immigration policy which allow them to travel between each other. Some Asian countries are in that very freely. If you're outside that mix, you have to go through, to come to this country or go to any of those countries. So the system is set up for them to succeed and for others to fail, and it's a continuum. Yes, you owe us from not coming live. Yeah, no, I have a lot to talk about. Well, this long, people, well, this long. Yeah, there are tons of undocumented Irish, but nobody's going after them. The media is not talking about it because the media is controlled by those who are Caucasians. So the media can protect their own. And what we fail to do, which is something I've advocated, Black people have to stop considering themselves about where they're from and just look at one thing, your skin color, which is very superficial, frankly, but it's a fact. In the neighborhoods I live in and neighborhoods I frequent, if I go to Crown Heights, for example, that whole neighborhood is changing to Jewish and mainly like Hasidic Jews. They don't buy outside of their constituent. So $1 that they spend is $10, $15, $20 to their constituent. In our community, we ain't got no black businesses, or very few, only restaurants, a lot of Jamaican restaurants actually. Talk about the one I went to yesterday. So in essence, when we spend $1, it goes outside the community. Oh, we're gonna get rich. We're gonna stay poor. And you see these one-off stories of athletes and others who are rich, and then you look at the black population in general per capita, and you just think, damn, this is crazy. So we don't support each other. We don't buy black. What Trump, I have no problem with Trump in a sense, You know why? Because Trump is doing what the US have always done in a lot of instances. Trump is just into himself. He's just a very selfish person who's into himself and going to do stuff to harm people, because he normally harm people. That's what he normally does. But I prefer somebody who's very overt. And you know what? I wrote this down. Trump reminds me. Trump is like Jamaican men, actually. They want to show you what them can do, and they want to make you know how tough they are. So they want to show it to you. While the previous president of the CIA are like Jamaican women. I'm span your face and I'm a bun you behind you, may I tell you. So I know that's my jacket at Jamaica. All right? So you want to have somebody who's going to show you who they are, because you know what you're dealing with. If you hide under things behind the back, like the CIA has been doing, that's what USA thing, which Trump shut down. That's like soft influence money, right? I give Jamaica a few money here. I gave Sudan a few money here, because I'm trying to soften them up and make them be friendly towards me. I say I hate the government if they're dictatorship, but if they are friends of mine, I turn them back. But if they're anything else, I pressure them. I give them a hard time. I sanction them. So that's the process. That's the process. I was talking to somebody today. I was thinking, you always have me hear this fight with some members of the JFF, and part of the discussion is always about how smart people are, how intellectual they are. I was fortunate enough to work for a company, and once a rich company, where I'm not sure I was ever the smartest person in the room in most conversation I was in. But the good thing about it, I never felt like I didn't belong in the room. And I was never put in a position where I didn't feel like I had respect in the room. So you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You have to be smart enough to know you're not the smartest person in the room. You have to be smart enough to know you're going to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you are. You have to realize that in life, if you want to advance, you need intellectual capital to help you, to assist you, to help you move along. It's an imperative for you to do that. And when you surround yourself with people who know less than you, then it's not a good thing. Or always know less than you. It's not a good thing, because you always believe that you're that great and you're probably not. So this is Jamaica, I throw a word. I throw some people. Now I came across this people. I'm just all over the place before I go structure and go into the game. So I came across this thing on, I won't say what platform. I'm gonna play it because there's a reason I'm doing this. I'm gonna play it. So I'm done with Trump now for today. Trump. I'm probably gonna do. I was thinking about, should I just do Trump videos 24/7, because they're gonna be news upon news upon news upon news upon news. And I said to hold off first. Let me just get my bearings, because I've been really, really busy. And eventually I will do that. I'm gonna do a lot of Trump stuff 24/7, because it's news and it give me views, because I'm not giving up views. Yesterday I was on the live with T-Got. By the way, T-Got, brilliant. Hey, people, T-Got are vibes people. You wonder on T-Got, he may talk with some upliftment in his voice, with a high octave, but he's a great person to be around. Fun person to be around, actually. And yesterday, I thoroughly enjoyed. I mean, I go back Sunday, no T-Got number today. So I came across this. People listed his skit. It's not a skit. Listed his comment by George Carlin. Listen to it. Some of you may see it already. Listen to it and digest it. Let me say again. Listen to it and digest it. For me to that, let me see what must be now. Say the neighborhood where my family fought living in Brooklyn has completely changed cranky. Yeah, they have, and they have to live close to each other, because they can go to their temple, whatever, or live close in that neighborhood. So, but they dominate, and nobody gives them the pressure. They can do whatever they want to do. They are crispy. So listen to this video, people, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit before I transition into the football.
That there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a list of 10 specific things he doesn't want you to do. And if you do any of these things, he will send you to a special place of burning, fire, smoking, torture, and anguish for you to live forever and suffer and burn and scream until the end of days. But he loves you. He loves you. He loves you, and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all-powerful, all-present, all-knowing, and all-wise. Just can't handle money.
So I saw that, and George, as one would say, is a really good comedian. He is, but I think he's talking about something which it always challenges me, because people tell me I'm an atheist. I'm like, no, I'm not an atheist. I'm far from it. But I think I'm very logical. And if something is not logical to me, I struggle. Like really badly, I struggle. Now, the way George put it is brilliant, right? It's so brilliant. And I listened to it like 10 times, people, just to digest, make sure I didn't miss anything. Even though it's a very short, I listened to it and I said to myself, if most people listen to this, 90% of them would just shrug it off and just whatever, because they don't get it. Now, most people will get it right away, but they will just shrug it off because they have so much fear of the impending doom that they're not even considering it. And they don't realize the person being described is a man. Let me say this again. The person who would think that way and who would say you're going to burn forever, we're talking about an omnipotent being who is so contradictory. It's amazing. When you people say, God help me do this and God help me do that, and God, I'm saying to myself, well, why would God help you at the expense of somebody else if you're all his or her child or children? Good evening, Ted Dexter. I am really, really confused. So you mean what? It's like a lot of parents who are human beings, by the way, who have like 100 kids. So they have 10 kids and they have their favorites, and the favorites are from 1 to 10. So if 5 and 6 come to him for something, number 5 gonna get the preference. Like, really? Muswin, you don't know me, no, Muswin. If you knew me like my friends do, you wouldn't even make that comment. Trust me, Muswin. What I want people to do is think. Because one of the reasons why Jamaica have so much crime, because people don't think before they act. You hear some coaches, I won't say who, talk about moments in football, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, why do we keep talking about this moments? Isn't there something? So here's what I always think, people. I'm a trained auditor. So we think about, you got to go find the root cause for something, or else it doesn't make any sense if you're a true auditor, if you're a good auditor. So if you know if you're saying from Jamaica a lot of killing, and what's the root cause for killing? Is it the guns? Is it education? What is it? So you have to drill down and say why till you get the root cause. And so the whole thing about George Carlin piece here is this, which is only man thinks that way. Only man, I don't even say woman, only man operates that way. Only man will come to the concept of the 10 commandments and then have this contradiction in the Bible where you have more killing than any other book in life, and more fornication and more promiscuity, and then tell you shouldn't do all these things, and more lying, but you shouldn't do all of these things, and make allowances for people in that same book to do it because they get absolved from it. It's amazing. And contradictions don't work for me. It's like having conflicts and then saying your conflicts are okay when we know it's not okay because you disadvantage somebody else. So I struggle with these things. And then I go back to the whole point of why we have so much killings and all these things is because I'm not sure people think before they make decisions a lot of times. Like in football, I don't think football is about moments. Football is about decision making. I hear Arteta talk about moments. I hear this Jamaican coach who coach Cavaliers talk about moments. I hear these people talk about moments, because it's the buzzword of the day. No, it's in point in time. In some situations, you make decisions. Bad decision, good decision. Don't follow whatever it is, right? It's decision. I hear Arteta talk about moments, this moment, because this is what the coaching language is nowadays. And what's the in style? No, it's about decisions. I'm going to shoot somebody. Should I make that decision? Do you think about what's implications to you if you do shoot the person? What's implications to the person's family? Do you think about these things? You just do them as if you're stupid. Are you thinking before you act? Before you go out and go cheat, are you thinking, you know what? Suppose my girlfriend find out, my wife find out. Will she also go cheat? What's the implication? Will we get divorced? Am I going to lose all the assets I didn't build up with my family? Do you think about this thing before you do them? Or you just do them and then say it's a moment? It's a moment. You make a bad pass, it's a moment. You made a bad decision. You should have passed the ball there. No damn moment. The decision was made in a moment, but it's not moment plus the derivative or the root cause. So that's the way I think. And maybe my thinking is illogical, but I think if it's not logical, I can't think about it. So that's my long little soliloquy this evening about things I want to talk about. I'm going to get into the game now. Because I thought the game... Oh, by the way, before I jump in the game, if you're in Brooklyn, if you're in New York City, and I should go to the game and then about that. So we had it was a watch party yesterday for the game between Trinidad and Jamaica, obviously with the local teams, now with locally born overseas players or diaspora born players who are part of the national team. And we had a place yesterday called I'm having a senior moment. A place called Bellyful that we went to for the event. Now, I didn't bring my computer, stupidly, but Tigat was there from Sports DTM, and Tigat was brilliant, really, really accommodating, really, really had a good time. It wasn't a large crowd, but I think the crowd was right for where we were. I'll show you something of the restaurant. It's a 2-level restaurant. I wouldn't say that the surroundings are great. It's not a difficult neighborhood, right? So it's not a neighborhood you got to be afraid to come in. It's a fine neighborhood, but almost like an industrialized area in a sense. But when you go inside, it's really nice inside. Right? Really long. I wouldn't say the width is wide, but really long. The person, Kimar, who owns the restaurant, was brilliant. Great to engage with. I'll show you the picture of the restaurant. I'll show you a small little video. It's really great. And then we watched the game, and you guys also watched the game. I don't know if you watched the game or watched a slow motion video, whatever it was. And I'll make some comments about that before I get into this, which is it's unfortunate. Because some of you guys have heard me express some concern about it. The place is at Utica Avenue, 2102 Utica Avenue, between Avenue M and N. So if you're in Brooklyn, Sunday, the game is going to be shown. The only unfortunate thing about Sundays is that, I don't know why the JFF does this. People got to think before they do things, The Super Bowl is on Sunday. Now, will you generate capacity in terms of... It's tough, right? I think they probably should have played the game Wednesday, Saturday. Because people think about this before they have events. Wednesday, Saturday, instead of Thursday, Sunday. And I'm sure a lot of local Jamaicans may not watch Super Bowl, but a lot do. And a lot of people here watch the Super Bowl. So that should be interesting. But I'm going to be there Sunday. Got me a look views. So we'll be there Sunday. I'm probably watching both games, actually. And coming to the game. I'm going to bring my laptop this time. And I'll say one thing before I jump into the video I have. Going to do is show you a video of the restaurant, and then stop and we talk through the video, show you some of the clips, and it took me a while to put this together, by the way. So I want you to hit the like button, I want you to subscribe button, I want you to hit share the video. Come and spend time to do this. No pay me for my time with the likes and share and subscribe. So some clips from the event. So what we did was we went there, set up. They have about 2, 3, 4, about 5, 6 TV screens. And where we were, we had, Tigat had his information on the board. And we had some people were there who are patrons. Some were there patrons and some came to watch the game. And what we did was we commented on the game. We had interview at halftime. And we have interview post-game. And also as part of this whole thing that I set up, I'm also going to have the coaches post-game interview, which I haven't watched as yet. So I'm watching it for the first time with you, deliberately, by the way, so we can all talk about it together. All right. And one thing I want to say before I jump into the video, which is this. I heard some commentator in Jamaica who works for TVJ, and you hear me play it before, says that he wants balance in the team. And his balance is locally born players in the JPL, so I've used balance, being part of the team and be part of the team and maybe even similar numbers, because if you have balance, it's got to be similar, as overseas playing players or born players. How I interpret it. I think if you did that, the team going to be unbalanced. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, let me play. let me just play some of these people, and you're going to watch this with me, right? I'll put this on the stage. So this is just what we did yesterday, because somebody asked me to come. He said, you know what, Cranky, show us when you go to the event, come back and show some of this. So we're going to do that. And then we can talk about the game. Let me make sure my phone is set up so you can call in at some point, because I haven't done this. So let me just set this up. Make sure my phone can take calls. You can come and talk about the game, because I know someone very, very unhappy yesterday watching a slow motion video, a slow motion stream. You know, I try to warn people, and they're not listening to people. They don't listen. They just do what they do. And things that we are trying to fight them and we're critical. Where's Football Guru? Hey, Football Guru, how come we need you to turn up? You don't turn up, Football Guru. And 1-1. No, not 4-1. Sorry, 1-1. Women are supporter. Football Guru and TikTok and what's his name? Paul Edwards. Where are you guys? How come you guys only come like the JFF when the under 20 get 15 love in a turn up, and then when the under 14 win in a turn up? No, man, come when things don't go right. Come on. One sooner. Anyway, let me do this, people, and we can talk. This is the restaurant. So you see, and the food is very good, by the way. The people who were there who were eating already enjoyed the dinner, say it was delicious, and you hear some of the comments. So this is the one at 2102 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, between Avenue N and M. And by the way, I put this sort of together. This is not their video. This is my video to show in their establishment. And the owner is Kmar, who was awesome, by the way. And it's serve all the normal Jamaican food, as you would expect. And play the game simple. And we're gonna get the field doesn't look terrible. So you see that it's a nice restaurant. Actually, I had two part of that video. One going out, one going in, but the video got up to a very long length, people. So I had to cut it down. And it tests my ability to do that. So that's why it's not, the video is not as long. It was longer, but I want to make sure your interest didn't wane, frankly. So I cut it off. So this is some of the excerpt from some of the activities we had at the event.
Yes, it doesn't.
So the concern can't be, well, we don't have the surface, because it looked like it's okay.
Right.
So they should be able to play, and they're not getting pressed by Trinidad. Jamaica not getting pressed, really. They give them room to maneuver and room to operate. When we get to the halfway line, so now Jamaica is trying to go long, ball held up by Trinidad, they have to play the game simpler.
Definitely.
Shot by Jamaica, shot blocked. And by the way, for those of you in the chat, we can't see the players' numbers.
And definitely, we can't even see the players good, so we only can say.
So as we go through these people, you can see the number of things that we're pointing out that needs to be addressed. I hope somebody from the JFF is taking notes. And JFF, this is very, very important, because sometimes people take this as criticism. You can take it the way you want, but it's constructive, call them developmental needs, are constructive suggestions, are things you can improve on, are things you should consider. But don't take it in a negative way as criticism. We're pointing out things which is obvious to a blind man.
Jamaica have the ball, Trinidad the ball.
Yeah.
Please. You understand? Jamaica have the ball, Trinidad have the ball.
But Jamaica has been a better team so far.
What?
I'm having a better run of play.
Oh, that shot came from time back in? Definitely.
I know the goalkeeper seemed to be injured, but everybody's run to the sideline for a water break. It must be very hot in Jamaica, I assume. They even give the keeper water, and he hasn't run any place. So I'm not sure why he's thirsty. I'm not sure why he's thirsty. he just started playing, so I'm not sure why he's thirsty, but he's getting water also. It seems like he has some sort of an injury. But the medical team is on the field. But the feed, hopefully the feed will improve as the game progresses. I assume the Wi-Fi setup there is not the greatest, and therefore that's why the feed may be a little bit slow.
So I was informed today by a source that the JFF did order sufficient Wi-Fi with the requisite bandwidth for the event. I was also informed, I'm not sure if we talk about this, I was also informed that somebody decided to reduce the order because they thought it was too expensive, without consulting the party who made the order, who may have had inkling as to what would be required to a very a good stream and one which didn't have the buffering. So I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. Jermaine says, Cranky, if Lord Jesus Savior doesn't perform tonight, there should be no worse. I assume he's talking about Tyreek McGee, right?
Sorry, people. Somebody was calling me, but we can't take the call in the middle of this. We gotta wait. Sorry, whoever's calling, we gotta wait until we're done this. You call.
Yeah, it's getting better. The feed is getting better. It probably. Yeah. No, it's running now. Actually, it's running now. I think the camera needs to zoom in more though. The camera is not zooming.
So you see, as we're going through this, people, we're pointing out things which are very obvious. Right? We're pointing out you can't see the camera doesn't zoom in. You can't see the players' numbers. And as we go through this, we're pointing out things that we are seeing, and you'll see that they're very obvious.
Coming in as well as it should. Jamaica trying to go along. We're turning the ball over. Maybe we are spoiled by watching ball. Yeah.
All right, people, remember to smash the like button on the Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club and the Sports DTM. We have over 470, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, you also can subscribe to the channel. All right, all the people from all the different, because of people from Brazil watching us right now. So people, anywhere you want, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You understand? The Reggae Boys and Girls Supporters Club, hit that like button. You understand? Issa, all the match so far, what is going on? You're deep in the match.
So let me say this to the JFF. Optics matter. The side of the field that's where being shown needs to be painted, people. Optics matter. You want to have a product, you got to look good and be good. And we can't take the optics of me, I see.
So if you were watching the stream, people, it's very disconcerting. They're on the side of the field where all the fans are, right? Because I don't know why you can't set it at I was told it's a 3,000 seat stadium. If you're playing a national game, international game at a 3,000 seat stadium, you should be able to sell out that stadium, seriously. But the opposite side of the field, when you're looking, the optics is horrible. Both to the left where there are no stands and the stands itself, it's horrible. Horrible. No, T-Gat mic was fine, actually. It was fine in the where I was. I'm not sure how you guys were receiving the information, but the optics are horrible. When you have a product, you know why Apple does so well, people? Look at Apple products. They're beautiful looking and they work. People just don't think about nowadays, does it work? They want you to embrace it. They want you to hold it. They want you to love to see it. And if I watch the game, you're showing Jamaica in a bad light, frankly. The probably need some paint and some coverings to not show behind the fence because it's ugly looking. It's not a good look. So I'm not sure why I would even think about that. I'm not sure why anybody go to the game wouldn't say, you know what? Okay, now we're going to broadcast, because there's a lot to think about when you're going to broadcast, people. A lot to think about. right? A lot to think about. It's not just thinking in a vacuum and not think about the holistic thing, what the implications are. I'm going to broadcast. Is the facilities sufficient? Is the facilities, are they at the point where there can be spread to the world, where they can be received by the world, disseminated to the world? Are they really? And if they're not, can I put some paint on it to make it just look better, do something without spending a material amount of money? And if you think about yesterday, there's a lot of people who want to watch the games. A lot of people on a Thursday want to watch a game. I watched some of the numbers for some of the channels. They're huge numbers. And all those numbers were plugged into the JFF system. That's why I was concerned about their bandwidth in terms of the ability to bring in all these numbers, right? There were a lot of numbers. Now, the JFF will say it was our first attempt, and we are trying to criticize. You're charging premium price. Nobody want to hear no excuse. Nobody, we're not, when the players don't play right, we're not getting an excuse. When fans don't turn up, we don't want the fans an excuse. Traffic was heavy. No, come at the game and spend your money. But they want premium product, especially Jamaican people who've chest big as them say. They want premium product. You got to get in premium product if you're charging premium price, especially you're charging premium price.
JFF got to fix that optics.
Definitely.
And they just paint it. Just paint it, JFF. Just paint it.
Just paint it.
It's progressing. I think we also need to see, we see in the left-hand corner they have the Jamaica symbol and Trinidad.
Yep,
They have the time there also. I don't see a time. So in that whole picture, in that what they're showing, they need to put the time. That's how the game has been progressing. I don't see a time here. But all this will come with time. What you guys should do, actually, those of you in the chat, if there are things here that you see that JFF need to improve on, I think you should put them in the chat. We need to collate all of those items and provide them to the JFF. Definitely. Or you can make a suggestion on the JFF live website. If you see things that we really need to improve, like I just mentioned, the optics across the field is not the best look. We need to make sure the product has both substance, physically and optically, in all respects. Trinidad coming forward, play the ball out wide. A lot of turnover, actually.
A lot of turnover.
Yeah, a lot of turnover.
Teams are not settling. A lot of turnovers.
And if you see me looking down, we're actually watching the game on a phone, because the TV to the left had connected to Tiga's computer. The TV was in the back on the same level, but my eyesight is not the best. So I was using my phone. So you see me looking down, not looking in the camera. And we had somebody just filming this with the iPhone. We didn't have an official camera. I had my nephew also filming with the small camera he has, and that's why we didn't film the whole thing, by the way, because you didn't see an introduction. We introduced on the stream the game and all that. It wasn't there because we started filming late.
Unforced turnovers too. Oh, now we see it, 27 minutes and 32 seconds. So we now see the time on here.
Yeah, it just come up now. The time come. Yeah, they change it. Yeah, they look at they watching us. They look at they watching us. Yeah, they're watching
I'm
us.
not sure if we influenced that, but it turned up. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So we're 20, almost 28 minutes in.
Yeah, and we're at the Bellyful restaurant right now. This live watch along is coming from the Bellyful restaurant, 2102 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Also, we are also having a watch along spot at Original Dancehall Thursday, Rebel T HQ, 52 Dunbar Avenue, Kingston. And after the watch along, they'll be having a Cape Town party. Yeah, man, firehouse party there. So make your way down to 52 Dunbar Avenue, yeah, man, in Kingston, Jamaica. And if you're in New York area, please make your way down to the 2102 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. So
we are spoiled people. We are spoiled in terms of the type of football that we watch.
Yes, definitely.
Because the ball is not being possessed really well. Players are trying, actually. They're not trying. But I do think they're making turnovers, unforced errors, which they really have to address. Right? I mean, it's not like they're being pressured and under severe pressure that allows so many turnovers to occur.
Where can you get the game? You can watch the game on JFF Live. It's right there. If you look on my screen, you see JFF Live. That's where you can get the game. JFF Live.
It's a YouTube channel.
It's a YouTube channel.
JFF
definitely.
YouTube channel, yes.
Yeah, JFF Live is a YouTube channel. That's where you can get
But you have to pay $9.99, by the way. If you're overseas, you don't need a VPN. If you're in Jamaica, you need a VPN.
Right.
It's not free. It's not free.
Definitely, it's not free. $9.99. So people, and if you want a good vibes, you want to just come on down there in the Brooklyn area where the watch along party is at Bellyful Restaurant, 2102 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. That's where we're at right now. Yeah, man, some good food, good liquor, good vibes. Yeah, man,
Well, I would call it liquid, not liquor. I would call it liquid. I call it liquid.
Yeah, man, if you want to have a cool restaurant right there, you understand? You can come on down, have a cool restaurant right there, and enjoy it.
Oh! Have somebody live in the studio. Come on, somebody live in the studio. So you want to tell us your name? Landy. Yeah. So, first of all, I want to know, who are you training and cheering for tonight? Trinidad or Jamaica?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Trinidad.
Oh, she's though. Okay, she's Guyanese. Okay, she's Guyanese. Yeah, she's Guyanese. But she's trained cheering for the Trinidad posse. Yeah, man, the Trinidad posse.
Oh, no.
Yeah, all right, so give me an experience at the Beautiful Restaurant. I see you are having mussel. How was it?
Well, the food is delicious. Definitely. The drink is amazing.
Oh, the drink is amazing. What do you have to drink?
I'm having an apple martini.
A apple martini. So she's having an apple martini with mussel. Yeah, definitely. So are you enjoying yourself?
I'm having a good time.
All right, so we'll be back on the 9th of February. Will you be here?
Will we be here?
And can you bring a friend?
Oh, of course.
Definitely bring a friend. I want you to bring a friend and tell somebody else to come on. All right? Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you for having you. All right, so there we have it, people.
Make sure you guys tune in to.
By the way, this lady is involved with a radio station, and you'll hear the name of the radio station. And obviously, she's inviting sort of Reggae Boyz, JFF, others to come speak at a radio station and talk about the product that they have and things of that nature. So that's good. I would say, you hear T-Gat is a vibes person, people, and did a brilliant job, actually, I thought, to engaging the crowd and just talking about the football in general. So I thought he did a wonderful job. And he's a great person to work with. You just feel the vibes and feel the energy.
The radio every Saturday, 6:20 a.m. at 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. That goes out to the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Will be live. You can expect to see the JFF live support fan club team. They'll be covering sports, and then we'll have agriculture covering consciousness, Rasta, peace and love and all these things. And then me, myself, Randy and Danger, DJ Danger will be covering entertainment. So make sure you guys tune in every Saturday. That's the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. 3 sessions, and that's Rota Radio 620 Live AM. That's the station. All right.
On the radio. We're going to have a lot of people, a lot of fun in the radio.
Interviews from the players when they're in town, from artists with, our entertainment segment. So it'll be lit. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. That's a good look.
Soon to a radio near you.
All right. That's a good look, and we like that. Thank you, Krista. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's get back to the game.
All right. Enjoy.
Back in the studio.
What's your name, sir?
Yeah, man, Patrick.
So, Patrick, you've been watching the game. What's your thoughts on the game so far?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, we need to step up the tempo a little bit. I think we lay back a little bit too much. And I give them too much respect. So I expect the second half they're supposed to come out with a higher tempo, and push forward. So the coach's view on this is to identify players who he thinks can matriculate to the team, right? That he has currently, because he's looking for players. Any players that stood out so far? To be honest with you, not much. I don't see much. I mean, I see a few, but not really none I could pinpoint. Well, we have a Richard King and we have a Maggie who are almost regulars in the team. Have they shown you anything so far to say, you know what, they deserve their place? Not much. I need to see the second half first, and I could, give us a more perspective on the game. All right, so I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, man, bless. Good.
So what we did was, I don't want to extend the video too long. After this, we'll go to, I think, the coaches' press conference and then post. So what we did is, at halftime, we asked some questions of fans in at the location, and then subsequent to, after the completion of the game, we did ask some questions. But I also have in there the coaches' press conference also. So what's your name? Mosiah. Yeah. So Mosiah, what's your thoughts on the game so far?
A pretty even game, but still think Jamaica could and should be playing better. Still too much long ball in my view.
what do you think we need in the team? Because right now, if you look at the team, it seemed to be, I wouldn't say it's set, that we're still searching for players, and the coach has been disappointed in the performance of some of the games we have played, especially against the US. So what do we need, and do you see any player out there can satisfy some of that need?
I wish I could tell you. It almost seemed like whether it's the English players or the local players, we seem to play the same kind of ball. And it don't matter who the coach is, it's the same kind of ball always being played. So I wish I knew the answer.
All right, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Replay, JFF. Show a replay.
We
need a replay. Replay.
Yeah, man, we're in.
So I see where Termal is saying, Cranky, I subscribe, watch the game. I don't know why it's showing up this way. Try it again. Subscribe, watch the game. I agree that there's a lot of long list that needs to improve, but I'm willing to give the JFF time to chip away. No, and look, here's the problem in Termal that people have with all of this. So we agree. As they would say in Jamaica, they might try a thing, and we support them. That's why they get the support and the subscription. But they also have to realize, if you came to the table with a $5 subscription, because we were told, someone asked this question earlier, that the YouTube is the one who required them to charge $10, or I'm gonna call it $10. $9.99 is like $10, right? And that's a YouTube thing. But then we have dispute by a number of people who are much more proficient about YouTube than I am, saying there's no such thing, right? YouTube is not requiring a $10 minimum subscription. Now YouTube does take a big chunk out of people's money. They take up to 35%. So if you subscribe, if you make $10, they're gonna take $3.50. That's an issue, right? Your numbers you're going to make from it is going to significantly less. I have suggested to the JFF, through some other source, that they should consider at some point in time, maybe what you do is you talk to people like One Spot Media, who has their own platform, who's not utilizing YouTube to stream the product that they stream. What is the cost benefit of you building your own platform and streaming it versus leveraging YouTube? That 35% you're giving up is going to cost more than 35% to have your own platform. Now, your own platform means you have all the headaches, you have to have maintenance, it costs money. But if you have a product to deliver, you may get away with that number, because then you control your own platform and how you deliver what you deliver. And the YouTube is a much more stable platform. So will the platform be 20 cents on the dollar or 30 cents on the dollar? They got to think about that. But I do think when you charge a premium price, people expect a premium product. We understand there are going to be growing pains, and a lot of growing pains, actually. And that's understandable. But if you start off with a large number, people normally start with a smaller number and then they increase it. Unless you're a car company like Lucid, who start off really high to get premium customers in and then probably lower the prices. It's a reverse psychological thing. So I do think that they need to revisit that. But we are, and look, a lot of people watched the game yesterday. I would think that there probably was about 100,000 people who watched that game yesterday. Now, I'm sure if you're the JFF, you're thinking 100,000 times 10, that's $1 million. I get YouTube at 35, that's 650. I take out my incidentals and my costs. I walk away with $500,000. That may be the mindset, right? And it's not a bad mindset to have. But you got to think about, do you have a dissatisfied customer base and turn off? And none of them, they're going to not come back Sunday, and they won't come back after that. Or some people will just subscribe and then cancel their subscription for a given month. Because what I just mentioned was 1 month. Their $10 is a continuum $10. So if you have 1,000 people on, they guaranteed to make $10,000 a month at a minimum. Money is coming in that they never had before. And we want to support them. I want them to maximize their revenue streams, but they got to think about the other side of the equation too, which is customer satisfaction.
In the 84th minute, and we get a result. You understand? The crowd here at Bedford was getting really anxious. Yeah, the crowd at Bedford was getting anxious, wanted a goal, and they get a goal.
So by the way, it is $14 in Canada.
One love. One love. Never get a ball. All right, so the crowd said never get a ball. All right. Big up Omar Adman in the place. Yeah man, that's my brother right there. Yeah man, that's my brother Omar Adman. Big up yourself. R&R, big up yourself. You understand? Them say one love, Bob Marley birthday. You understand? Yeah man, big up Bob Marley on his birthday. Robert Nestor Marley, big up yourself on your birthday. Alright? And so we are in the 85th minute of the game. Cranky, what do you think?
Well, we're leading.
We're leading.
Yeah, it has not been the best game. I think there are periods in the game where both teams try to keep the ball, but it hasn't necessarily the best watch so far.
Right.
But look, we scored, right? And
Definitely.
the most important thing is that you want to beat your nemesis, you want to beat your competition, you want to beat the team which you always have a challenge with, which is Trinidad.
Right.
I think since 2008, they have played a number of games. Jamaica's won 5, Trinidad has won 3.
Paul?
So this is the press conference.
There was a
post game and post match press conference.
Gordon. He's one of the few teenagers along with Christopher Ainsworth. How would you summarize those guys' performances?
Yeah, Ainsworth came on a little earlier. Rubinho never really had a chance to get in, but it's great to give them the games. And yeah, we roll to Sunday and we'll have to make some changes. We have to use all the squad, which we did tonight. We had no hesitation in the changes, and they made a real difference. But the solid foundation that we had was the two centre backs and Sully in there. They really dominated and allowed us to progress and play.
Okay, coach. How important it is for us to keep local camps, for us to have our better set of local-based players coming together, training, learning your system, so that we can integrate that into our World Cup qualifier later down in the year.
Yeah, very difficult as a player to come in and to be. We tried not to bombard. We tried to keep it simple. One or two things in terms of build-up, which I thought was good. In terms of pressing, rest defence, getting out, squeezing, staying compact. I thought that was very good. So what they tried to do, they did. Like a little bit more quality on the ball, quality in final ball, quality in one-on-one situations. But I'm sure that will come because I think all the players, they were focused on winning this game. And I said, to win it, you have to play as a team. And I thought they played as a team, saw the game out, and won.
Okay, coach. This series ends on Sunday when we play Trinidad in Kingston. How important it is now for after this that you pick local players to keep on training together, learning your system?
Yeah, I mean that would be ideal, but the JPL is so congested with fixtures. We would like to have had 2 days 2 weeks ago with them, 2 days last week with them, and 2 days this week with them, and then we get familiar with what international football is all about and what we're trying to bring to the national team. And it's a lot to learn. They're not going to learn it in 2 days. The attitude, the effort, the work rate, and the quality in the end, it got us the win.
Question to goal scorer. You're known as Captain Fantastic. Always cool like Kumbo on the ball and off the ball. How important was it for you to transition mentally out of the JPL system to our international team?
First of all, the squad is we're familiar with each other, so the coach keep it very simple, give us very simple information. So it was nothing different, we just know that it's international football and we have to be mentally focused and we have to lead the game right through.
Yeah, as mentioned before, this is his 4th camp, so this is the 3rd year in a row where Sule has been part of these domestic-based camps, so it's not new for him. Yes.
Coach, you talk about it in the attacking third. Terms of 1v1 challenges, we did not do a lot of that. What can you do to get them more confident in taking on the players on the wide area?
Just give them the freedom to express themselves, to do that, to do the work, yes, but while they're there, because they're one-on-one, they're strong, they're quick, they're direct, and maybe because of the occasion and coming together, it's they're a little hesitant to do that. So they weren't free flowing. So we have to make sure that they relax, free flow, and like we said right at the beginning.
I think I have a hiccup. I may have picked up the wrong video actually because I had post-game comments on the video. I'm not sure what happened, actually. Maybe I'll find the other one that I had. I'm not sure why it got cut off, actually. That's weird. I apologize for that. But that was an interrupted press conference. By the way, people, you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Interrupted press conference. I was having some trouble actually uploading the video that I put together. So not sure what happened. Maybe I picked up the wrong one, actually. What is Devon saying? I think that needs to check his hearing. I believe something wrong because he always speaks very loudly. He's a boisterous person. He's fun to be around, though, frankly. I like hanging out with T-Cat. A lot of fun. I think what the coach is very diplomatic, actually. I don't think the coach is satisfied with the talent either in the team he has now or the local players he's seen playing. And by the way, I heard this one person in Jamaica, I've said it before in the stream, who's a prominent commentator in Jamaica space, talking about he wants balance in the team. Who are the balanced players he wants in the team that he saw yesterday? Who are these players? Because balance to me meaning a 23-man squad, maybe say 6 other locally based players, because we have about 5 or 6 who are born in Jamaica playing overseas. Who are those players that he wants the balance with? I'm curious. I apologize to those who I interviewed subsequent to the game, people, including Christopher Wright. If I can find the video, I probably have them anyway. I will post them, but I don't know what happened actually, why it got cut off. That's very disappointing because I had a video that had all of it set up. So don't know what happened actually. But yeah, so at the end of the day, call and tell me what your view were of the game. I must admit, people, I was extremely, extremely disappointed, to be honest. It's almost like we're playing what they call bat up and catch. In cricket, you play, just hit the ball. The only time you had sustained possession is when people weren't being pressured. As soon as they passed half line and got anywhere close to the middle of the opponent's half, on both teams, they turned the ball over. There was no ability to play under pressure. There's no ability to play between the lines. It was just not a good look. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Christy.
Good. How you doing, Chicago? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me. I think regarding business, do you think we treat black businesses the same as we treat other businesses?
It's a loaded question. Do we treat black business? Look, I think people want to support businesses or to engage with businesses who they believe is going to give them the best bang for their bucks, right? So I think people are agnostic as to who they purchase from a lot of times. And I do think sometimes the black businesses do not have the contacts and relationships to get the more discounted prices that would allow them to charge fees and charge for their services, which would be lower than the competition. So what you have a lot of times is the black businesses that their prices are not competitive, and therefore people are going to pursue services and goods with organizations which may not necessarily be of the same persuasion as the customer. So I don't necessarily think that people are deliberately saying I'm not going to pursue or support a black business. I think they're going to go where they can get the best bang for their buck.
I have to disagree. And regarding price competitiveness, black people spend a considerable amount on name brand clothing, Gucci, Armani, Versace. They like Porsche, Mercedes, Benz. Those things are very expensive that they buy. And a matter of fact, the more expensive those things are, the more likely a black person will buy it. And the same black people will go to a black business and ask for a discount. In my opinion, that's not treating it equally. And this thing with the JSS is kind of similar, right? Many people in the football fraternity will have no problem paying exorbitant fees to watch the Premier League, La Liga, and all type of league. And they complain about the $9.99 that the JFF charges, right? That's not treating it equally.
So I think the illogic aspect of your conversation is twofold, and I call it illogic, and here's why. So you're not comparing like for like. What's the competitive Gucci product you're talking about? Because yes, Black people love name brand. They love to show what they have. And not all Black people, but some Black people, and a lot of them, they'll buy above their means. They'll buy products which are not investment. They are disposable products, right? Or trendy products. Yes, we do that quite a bit more. But what's the compare? Because you're saying, do they support Blacks or they support somebody else? So the analogy you're using, the comparative you're using is a product which we don't produce, right? Secondly, the Premier League is a Premier League, plays Premier football. The quality of the product is better than what you're getting from the JFF for almost half the price or 30% less. So if we are a country and people who love excellence and that product is excellent, I'm going to pay premium for that product. And in fact, in this case, we're paying more for an inferior product, which should not be the case. And here's one more point, actually. And I said it to my nephew today. We went to a restaurant and I said to him, Black businesses don't know how to price products a lot of times. I'm going to give you an example. You go to a restaurant. They want to charge you, if you say, give me the rice alone, they want to charge you $5. $5 for the rice or $4 for the rice. If you go to an Asian restaurant, they're going to charge you $1 for the same rice. And you ain't cook no different or no better. So the most established is going to charge you for the more price product, which is the meat, right? Or things which are rare, like meat, caviar, whatever. They're going to charge you a premium price for those. And then the more product, which are ubiquitous, they can get from anywhere, a much lower price. We don't do that. We'll charge $5, which is half the price for the meat, for the rice. And you're just like, what the hell? Does that make any sense to anybody? So we haven't really thought about when we have a product that we're selling, what's the competitive price of my product so I can compete with anybody else? And so you get your constituent frustrated because your pricing is poor.
I don't think Black people are concerned about customer service because they will go to the Gucci store and the agent store and they will complain that those people are following them around and they are trailing them and stuff like that. And they go back to the same store to buy from the same agent person. They'll go to the same Gucci store that when they go inside the Gucci store, the Gucci rep follow them around, accuse them of stealing and all of that. And they go back with pleasure and with no issue. So Black people are not concerned about customer service. So the evidence is telling me that Black people just do not. I think we have a disease in our head that we kind of expect Black people to do certain things and like sports, but when it comes down to business, the Black person is not good enough. There's something mental going on there. Because all of the excuses that I've heard over the years, I have seen evidence to the contrary. I have seen Black people complain about Balenciaga, that when they go to the Balenciaga store, the sales representative follow them around and they still go back to the Balenciaga store. You know what I mean? So many European designers have expressed displeasure that Black people wear their clothes, and Black people still wear their clothes even more. The evidence is telling me that we again, I don't know if it has been passed down over the generation by our grandparents, and it goes on the same to where we are preconceived notions in our brain of what Black people should be good at, and when we see a Black person doing something different, it's a problem. Asian people are known to have poor customer service. And Black people go to those stores and do not complain. I mean, they complain and they still go back. You know what I mean? We have a very short fuse when it comes to our own regarding business. We are looking for faults we expect for the service or the product to not be good even before we give it a chance. Yeah, and we do not hold other people to those same standards. We just don't.
Well, let me just say this. First of all, you got to have a business to have a product. And most of the businesses I know in my neighborhood are not black-owned businesses. Blacks have a bunch of restaurants. That's it. You know, most of the other businesses. They don't own the printing shop. They don't even own the laundromats. They don't own the shoemaker shop. They may own a barber shop. They may own a restaurant. They don't own the supermarket. They don't own a lot of the businesses. I don't even talk about high-end business because they ain't even in the neighborhood. So I do think we're not entrepreneurial as a race as we should be, right? Asians are very. Sometimes language is a barrier that forces people to do things different from how it's normally done. So that may be, but Asian in general can be much more entrepreneurial. I think what we need to do as a people, though, is realize that we have to be better. We have to engage each other better. We have to support each other better. We have to realize that we go into a place where it's separate but equal. Whether it's in our school system to help improve our school system, whether it's the resources we get allocate, how we engage each other, how we support each other, we have to do better. Because right now, we're like that unprotected group that's been exposed. I'm not sure where we go from here. And it's not it's not about Black American or African or Caribbean people. It's just Blacks in general have to support each other. Much more trade amongst themselves, much more engagement amongst themselves, much more supportive amongst themselves. That why some people don't care about us, because we kill each other so frequently. We have disregard for each other because we lack a lot of education in our communities. The education is not at the right level. Because when you educate, here's what thing you don't realize, people. Tell me a well-educated person who just go out and shoot people.
No, I'm cranky. What I'm talking about here.
I know what you're talking about, Carla.
Is a specific psychological problem that Black people have. It's a psychological problem that Black people have regarding business and other Black people in business and all.
You have to. I know the people want to talk football. Let me just say this. Not to cut you off. Let me just say this. Let me say this. You got to come to the point quickly, which is this. When you say we have a psychological problem, I'm not sure what that means in a sense.
I mean that we have ideas in our head of who should do business, which group of people should be in a certain business, and when that notion get disturbed is a problem. We are comfortable seeing a Black person playing sports. We are not comfortable seeing a Black person owning a business.
I don't agree with that sentiment, actually. I think we're agnostic about who owns the business. I do think you're laughing because you think I'm talking nonsense, right? So that's why you're snickering.
No,
but that's your perspective. We differ on this.
What you can do, you're in the New York area.
Right.
If you don't believe me, gather up a bunch of Black businesses and ask them about the experience with Black customers. Just ask them about the Black customers, and you're gonna get a common thread.
Right. So we have 1 more minute on this. So let me just say this. 1 more minute on this. I'm gonna take the last minute. I'll say this, which is this: you give as good as you get. What do I mean by that? A lot of Black businesses don't do enough to garner customer support. A lot of Black businesses, or you go into the Black businesses and they have attitude. Now, it's not necessarily the owner, it's the people who work for them. They have major attitudes. And you're like, why should I spend my dollar with you when I come in here and you say, Jamaica, what use the word? You're feisty. You don't have no respect. Your customer service support, why would I even support you? So if you're going to complain about not getting support, you also have to engender support. You have to find a way. You ever go into some store, people, and no matter how rude you may be, the customer service is great? Because you know what? They don't care about you. They care about the dollar you're providing, the resource you're providing them. We have major attitude. You go in any store where there's a Black person around the counter, and I used to go to a store here, not far from where I live. I'm going to give you an example. The last example before I close this down. Right? And I go in there, and the faces are made up. And I'm like, damn, I hate coming here. I love the food, but damn, do I have to come here? And one day I said to the person, why are your face always like this? She's like, what are you talking about? I said, but I said in a fun way, right? So she started smiling. I was like, you look so much better when you smile. Why are you like that? I had a bad day. Do you have a bad day every day? Like, really? Your bad days every day? Like, if I come in, what do you like how I look or not? Just smile. Because if you smile, I may give you a tip. If you engage me, I'm going to give you a tip. That's how people get tips. There are other races who do a better job. Now, Asian race is very agnostic. They don't have any hospitality thing. It's a transaction for them. But they're not rude. They're just a transaction. Give me A, give me B, leave, done, go on. We have attitude. And that attitude permeates the environment. And that attitude just makes you say, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to engage with you. I don't want to be around you. So you have 1 more minute.
Again, what you're saying, we would all wait if we were the same with other business attitude. Chinese businesses are known to be a poor attitude. You go inside there and they're talking in their own language. You don't know what they're saying. And the customer service is not all that in a bag of chips. And black people go there over again. We have a psychological problem regarding that businesses. We have a psychological problem that must be fixed. That's all I have to say.
All right. Appreciate the call.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. That's one perspective, people. There's some credence to that, right? I think Woodwin is saying, I'll come back to your comment, is saying that I think we're agnostic to a degree, but I believe we have some preconceived ideas about black people in business. Yeah, there may be one. I mean, it's hard to determine. I would love to see some studies on that as to what studies that really engage both sides of the equation, which is the people who own the businesses, the people who work in the businesses, and the people who are the customers for those businesses. I can tell you're going to get 3 different stories on each side. I can tell you when I go in some of these stores, some of these black restaurants, don't you see comedians making joke about that? From other disciplines, like black Americans say they go to the Jamaica store and the person around the back and they call them and they have attitude. And did you see all this stuff? We had these comedies are portraying real life. You go watch these comedies, even the British comedies about the attitudes of Jamaican who are in those stores and now they're restaurants. We have major attitude. We don't understand what customer service entails. I don't think Asians have the attitude per se. I think Asians have a culture thing in how they engage. Colin Quest, thanks for the super chat. Truly appreciate it, sir. Thanks so much for the super chat. That's one thing I'm very focused on if I get super chat, people. Because I missed super chat. I think, who was it that gave me super? Rob Smith. Was it Rob Smith or somebody like that? And I missed it. I hate doing that. So Colin Quest, truly appreciate it. But look, I think these things need to be studied and flushed out and discussed. Because I do think because some people just want to talk football. Let's talk football. We are crank you up and line. People, this is life. This is life that we're living. We're an endangered species. We've been an endangered species forever. I said to people one day that I think we go down to Rome in those Vatican and go look in the basement. We may have been a dominant race that somebody got pissed off at us and say, you know what, they'll never dominate me again. Because we're physically a strong race. And in the way back in the old days, it was more brawn than brain. And when you are dominant like the US is, you get sneaked upon like the Chinese does. That's what probably happened to us. There's something that we're not being told seriously. But anyway, that's my conspiracy theory. So let's go back to the game. Now, I do believe, again, Colin, thanks. I do believe that I don't know what to say about the game, people. It was a hard watch. Literally, figuratively, substantive. It was a hard watch because I thought the game was in slow motion. Actually, the feed was so bad, it was in slow motion. It was at a minimum we should have the bandwidth for the game. They should have projected based on the 60,000 they had before to project it for like 200,000, right? I don't think that happened. So that was part of the problem. And then the optics wasn't good. When you come out, I should be able to. Here's the thing, people. So if there are 10 bad things, there need to be 10 good things. You tell me the 10 good things from yesterday. Because everybody's going to say, Cranky, you're negative as usual, right? And I don't want to be negative. So I applaud the JFF for going down this path. I applaud the JFF for thinking about alternative revenue stream, which I have support. I applaud the JFF for making an attempt at this, right? I do applaud them, actually. I think it's a good thing. I think we're having some people there who are thinking and who are realizing that they can monetize certain things that they do. They can monetize their product. But I do think the product has to be digestible is my favorite word when it comes to these things. One was saying, yeah, it's bad one. And we think it's cool, actually, because they make fun of it and we think it's cool. It's not cool. When you come in to make fun of it, it's not cool. Being rude in a customer service is not cool. Some people think it's cool. It's not cool. It's awful, actually. DC said, I try to buy from back business for as many shopping as possible, but if you give me poor customer service, that's the problem, DC. That's the problem. And I don't think the business owners are sophisticated enough and thoughtful enough to realize that you have to smile to get what you want. Think about it like a woman, for example. If a woman give you attitude, but we give you a smile, who are you going to approach? Let me ask you guys that question. I know we're going to talk football, people, but we can jump around a little bit. If you're engaging somebody, say a woman, for example, and you get a smile versus a kiss teeth and a bad look, which one you go to? It ain't no different. Ain't different. So El Granero says, sorry for the game today. First half was poor, but it got better in the second half. Yeah, the quality wasn't there. And here's the thing I realize, people. That coach is a politician. But he's a politician with a message. Because if you listen to the coach closely after the last U.S. game, he's basically saying his team wasn't good enough. And he need better players. Then after this game, and the local media is like pushing him. This player, and how this player played, and how that player played. You were at the goddamn game. You didn't see how the player played? I could tell you how they played, even though I couldn't see the game well. There were no standout players. The only player who came in the game and looked decent was Phillips, actually, who I'm surprised didn't start the game. But he came in, and you know the Jamaican people talk about energy and run hard. He wasn't only running hard. He was playing decently. He came in and sort of changed the game in a sense. He only got about 30 minutes, if he got that much. But the game was a hard watch, literally and figuratively. It was a hard watch in terms of the slow motion nature and the difficulty, and you look across the field. If the optics, here's another thing people don't realize. You see if the product is bad and the optics are great, then you may feel a little bit better. I'm looking across the field and there's no paint. There's a wall with a fence. There's some broke down thing on the right. You're just like, stop showing the country in bad light. Go put some tarpaulin and cover up the damn thing if you can't put a fence there. And people want to say, Cranky, you're really critical. Yes, I'm critical because those are basic stuff. This is not even about the stream itself. Streams sometimes don't work for a lot of different organizations. But if I subscribe to Peacock and to Paramount, I'm getting movies, I'm getting sports, or ESPN, which I subscribe to, which raise their price. I'm thinking about dropping them. And you know what happened, people? You know what happened? When the JFF said they had $9.99 for streaming, I started putting a template together for my subscription I have. I didn't realize I had so many subscriptions. I guess I don't check my thing too closely. And I done put the subscription together. I'm like, what the hell? So I have to drop some subscriptions. I have too many subscriptions. It's a waste of money. Because when you do YouTube, I subscribe to CapCut, StreamYard, Vida, so many stuff. That's just YouTube. Don't think about ESPN, Paramount, Peacock. And don't think about the Amazon. I'm like, wait. Something's out of control here. So we have been caught up in this streaming thing by people, and we're just getting squeezed. And I got to add JFF $10 on there. And the product I'm getting is not quality. Yeah. What are you disagreeing with 876? So you disagree with something. What are you disagreeing with? Not sure you disagree with me on. But you're fine to disagree. Woodman said, Phillips did well. He can run all day. I think that was what we need. To pick up midfield with legs shuffle across. Yeah, no, I thought Phillips did well, actually. We all in the room were saying that he was a player that sort of changed the game. Good evening, CB.
Yeah, good evening, Cranky. How going, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I didn't subscribe to the JFF live yet because I was waiting to see what the first reaction was. And so far, I think I did. Yesterday I was very ambivalent. I was like, no, I'm gonna get it. I said, no, wait. And I'm a very impatient person from time to time. And I'm glad I kind of listened to myself this time and waited. But it behooves me that the two games that the first stream for the ladies playing, there was no hiccup in the stream. It went really well from a viewing point of view. So why is it when you're paying for this subscription, it was worse?
So here's my view on that, actually. I don't know who controls the bandwidth at the location for the Wi-Fi, but you got to think about Military Guna is the one who did the previous one, right? Is Military Guna the one that did this? Because Military Guna and CC did the previous one. I'm not sure who did this one, actually.
They did I think they did the very first one. They weren't on there. No, CC was on this one yesterday.
He was on there, yeah.
Military, yeah. So, but the thing is, and the last caller was talking about, he was talking a lot of stuff. He was all over the place, and I was here screaming at my TV because some of the stuff that he was saying was really kind of based upon like these notions that people have. I worked in customer service for a long time. And sometimes when you work in black businesses, sometimes the patrons kind of harass you and you harass them. So it makes it sometimes difficult, but that's here and there. Good service is good service. The only thing that really bugs me about this is that if you are going to sell a product and you're going to say, and you're going to have a high price point, you have to have a very good product or a very decent product. And I think that's what people are complaining about. We have no problem spending the money, but if you go into a Gucci store, the reason why we are buying Gucci is because we know that the product should be good.
Most time it is, right? It's quality product.
Most time it is.
Yeah.
And if you, so they did a game at Montego Bay before. So therefore you should have said, okay, how can we improve on the product? If you went there to say, you know what, let's film from the other side so we can see the fans and make let the stadium appears much full, and you'll get the optics of the players, the fans, and being at ground level. You're still in the infancy of the product. Then you shouldn't be charging. You should be getting your product right before you can start charging. Yes, most business operate at a loss. People forget that when Amazon was being built for years and years, they operate as very small margins before they can charge what they want.
But I think the JFF was encouraged by this stream for the Reggae Girls game. They would probably figure if I get 60,000 people for the Reggae Girls 2 games and the men's team have much more support and much more interest, I'd probably double that. If I took a cut of best case and worst case scenario and in the middle, I get 60,000 times 10 or times 6.5. I'm doing well. I think that's probably the thought process. As you're saying, which is, and they probably believe they don't have a lot of games they can actually broadcast, right? Because CONCACAF control the media rights for a lot of those games or World Cup qualifiers, they don't control. So they only have so much window to provide these games and generate revenues outside of the normal process. I think that's probably part of that's what I'm thinking is part of the thought process, actually.
I agree. That could be the thought process, and that's fine. But take the time to hone your craft. Just like how we have football and the local players have to take their time to hone their craft, JFF has to hone its craft in this streaming environment because you're new to it. You should, this is when you say, when earlier on the caller was like, black people have an issue buying. No, what we have an issue with, in my opinion, is that we don't collaborate. If I don't know something and I know you know it, I'm going to come to you for you to guide me till I get an understanding. And I think a lot of times people want to jump into space without spending the time to do the research. All right, so JFF is new to streaming. Military Goon has been streaming for a while. CC has been streaming. Bring these guys into a room, pick their brains, see what works for them, see what cameras they use, see how they get their best shot. There's some guys that come on the scene right now and they're doing phenomenal work. Work with these guys to build your product. And I think a lot of time we don't go to experts and say, tell me what you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they fall short.
Well, I think also my hope is that they will take these feedback that they've been provided in a positive light. They will look at, as I said on the stream yesterday, I think somehow they should have been going through all the different sites, all different feedback they're getting from some of it just complaints, some of it is criticism, but regardless of what it is, it's ammunition to allow you to garner, to gather, to evaluate, and to use it for your benefit, right? You want to put the best product out there. You want people to come to sometimes people just buy a product just because of it look and feel versus even the substance of the product. You want to give them you want the product to have all these attributes that you can leverage it.
I agree. And I think if they want to continue doing the stream, you can always show the best game of the week in the JPL, because remember, the better the product looks, the better it is that people will buy into it. Because if you're putting on the game of the week on a Sunday or Monday and I have the stream, I feel, you know what, me not do nothing. Me tune in for a local match and see what's going on. But they have to, it's not always about the money. The money will come if the product is right. And you got to get the product right. And that's in any business. You get the product right. The restaurant you went to, right? You said the food was good. You know what a greedy person like me, I'm going to say? Well, I go there because me said the food good.
Yeah.
Matter the price point, because me I said the food good. Because I've gone places and spent a lot of money and the food ain't good.
Well, food good in Brooklyn, people? Wherever the people who drive those vans on Flatbush Avenue go eat where they eat.
Yeah, the dollar man them stop.
That food is always good. That food is always good.
And that's true. But if someone goes and says, I saw the JFF stream, and it was great. The optics were good. There was a lot of fan base. The scenery was great. People will spend their money to buy into it. Make a good product. One of the things sometimes what we don't do, we don't own our business. And to the caller who called before, let me give you a little tidbit when you talk about Korean stores. When I used to do deliveries, one of the things that why their West Indian grocery store work better in Brooklyn and Bronx and Queens is because they have buying power. If they come together as a group and buy 10 can of Aki, them can sell it for a cheaper price than if you alone go and buy 10 can of Aki. And that's what the people you have to understand. Sometimes,
CB, that'll cut you, CB. Let me say something, CB. CB raised a brilliant point, which you don't seem to realize. Some of those Korean stores are owned by the same person, right?
Yes, they are.
Right. So behind the scenes, you may have 10 stores owned by the same person. So when they go buy, they buy in bulks. They get bulk discount, wholesale discount. People don't realize this. They think it's the same person owning them. No, there are people behind. It could be even owned by the Korean government. We don't even know who owns some of these things. But we don't even speak their language. They go in the store, they speak differently. They people work 24/7 too. They don't even work. They don't even live in no life. They come there at 7, they leave at 11, they come back the next day, 7 days a week. People can't live like that.
And they have buying power. If you can buy for whatever product you're buying and you can buy it for a larger amount and get it for cheaper, you can sell it cheaper. The liquor mom and pop can't do that. So therefore they can't, their price point is gonna be higher. JFF should have started at $2 or $3. Get the product right, and as you get the product right and you start to grow the product, you can increase it. If you increase it, listen, this is my last point and I leave. If you leave a crab in a pot of water and turn on the water, he won't know same in the hot water till he's dead. Because you increase it, but in the nose of the water, they get hot. If you start at $2 and you make the product better, every time you go up $10 more, nobody don't complain. You notice that every time Netflix ups their price, they complain, but they don't get rid of Netflix, right? Because they know what they're getting.
Yes, and that's why the Mike Tyson fight with whoever he fought, people complain about it because I thought it was my TV was wrong with it. You see? No, I'm serious. I'm watching the thing. I think something's wrong with the TV. You call it the cable company. It was Netflix who was messing up, right? Because they had such a big.
Because you're so used to them putting such a good product on out there, so therefore you're like, oh, something is definitely wrong with my TV. Can't be them. And you will showcase the football better. Listen, if we ask more of our local players to do more, show us more, ask JFS to put a better product on the field, then it will get better. If we just say, okay, you know what, them just don't know, we'll give them a chance. No, brother, no. There is too much information out there for you not to spend the time to research, put your stuff together, get good products, and put the product out there. Yes, you may spend a lot of money up front, but if your product is good, we will come back. Just like the football. If the football on the field is good, no matter if we don't like it, we are going to watch it.
Yes. People don't realize, even in Jamaica, actually, we talk about Asians, like Indians and Chinese, and they take over certain aspects, certain retail business and all that. They have insight, they have alliances and relationships that allow them to get to know if they're importing from India or from China, where to go source what they need, and they can sell it much cheaper and sell it much more. Yes. So I don't think people realize that we don't have relationships that allow us to get the benefits and pass on those price discounts to our customers. So how are you going to compete? You can't compete.
You can't compete. Can't compete.
Brilliant call, CB. I appreciate it, sir.
All right, later, my friend.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Brilliant call by CB, and he's right about that. Something which I didn't bring up previously, which is we don't seem to understand that we're always at a competitive disadvantage. And we exacerbate the situation by being rude and being obnoxious in terms of customer service. It doesn't help us at all. So you start off with a deficit, and you just exacerbate that deficit. It gets worse and worse and worse. Not a good look. So let's go back to the game. Bless up, Dre, DJ Dre. Thanks for joining. When I watched the game, what I could watch, it was a hard watch, people. I was commenting in the stream that it was in slow motion. It was a hard watch. But I'm not going to just try to berate or belittle the JFF about what transpired. These things happen. They're learning on the job. And it's an expensive lesson to learn because they will lose some customers because of this. But if they come, there's time for them to recover from this. Hopefully they'll learn from this. Because I said before, as I heard, somebody told me that the bandwidth of the Wi-Fi they bought, I'm not sure if it was from Flow or who it was not the right level. That's what's part of the problem. I don't know these things. I'm not an expert in those areas. I would hope that they would try to rectify these things and provide a better product next time. Right? They can only go up. They can't go down. If they go down, they ain't gonna get no customer. So they can only go up subsequent to what transpired. So hopefully they'll do better and it will only go up. But I'm encouraged by the fact that at least they're trying, and by the fact that they have some people in the JFF, like Dennis Strong actually, who's really thinking about the finances and is not restricting himself to just think one-dimensionally. He's thinking more holistically and thinking about how can I go out and get revenues to help the football. And hopefully that revenue to generate will invest in the football. Yeah, the play on the field, Triple E, Jesus. It was a hard watch. And here's what it asks people. The JPL, which is improving in terms of commerciality, in terms of playing services, in terms of organization, in terms of administration, is the football improving? People can't even keep the ball, right? They just turn the ball over. It's like playing ping pong. It's like, but ping pong where the opponent's getting it. Trinidad wasn't any better, by the way, people. I don't know what happened to Caribbean football. Was it always this bad? It's not good. It's not good. It's not good at all. No, Jay Lay, I think I heard they bought the right bandwidth and somebody changed the order and everybody paid for it. Because the restaurant where I was at, people were just like, what the hell is happening? First of all, we were having trouble in the restaurant just logging on. And when we logged on, it wasn't good. By the way, Kmar at Beautiful Restaurant, 2102 Utica Avenue, great person, great scenery. Restaurant is really, really nice. The ambience is good viewing. Food is good. So if you're in Brooklyn, go frequent them. 2102 Utica Avenue between Avenue N and Avenue M. If you're in New York, it's a really nice location, actually. In terms of you can get parking, because at night, people probably won't be in the street. Parking because it's a little bit of an industrialized area. And the inside the restaurant is well done. And I didn't really eat there, but I was told the food is great, actually. And most of me are vegetarian, so if I manage, I'm eat. So I didn't really eat before I went there, but I probably should have. But Sunday, I'll probably eat there also because the food did look good. Even the meat looked good, but I'm not going to eat none. Cranky, like my question is, many of the people that will come on the streams to fight about local-based players getting the national team, I wonder they pay to watch that game. Well, call some name, man. I'm not afraid to call name. Me call name. Maverick, Oral Tracy, TVJ, who want balance. We want balance in the team. As him said, just some balance. What the balance there, Tracy? We need to. You want to unbalance the team. The team already at tilt. And you want to tilt it more. Huh? I want to tilt it more. Triple said, I wonder if someone was part of the Anderson team. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what balance we're looking for, people. What we need is the best players. What we need is meritocracy. What we need is to go find. Here's what's disappointing about this whole 2-game series. Yes, they want to look at local players. Yes, they want to identify those gems and bring to the team. But this is probably also your best opportunity to identify any youth player who are playing overseas, like in the UK in the under 21s, or maybe playing down the ladder, say League One, who may be 19, 20, and who the team may release them because not a FIFA window. In fact, I'm not so sure League One is subject to that. And they may have wanted to come in and could come in. But the ability to think outside the box, because we're so localized in our thinking, and we have no desire to see anybody who is not locally born, is just very restrictive. I think part of that, Dre, is probably money. I get the sense it's very, very expensive to fly to outside a certain region, probably go to South America, Central America, and it has to be worth it financially, actually. And the JFF will tell you that even though the Reggae Boyz for World Cup qualifiers and Nations League are flying private jet, it's pricey as hell. Look at the numbers. So they don't want the players to be flying all over the place. At least local players may have been able to take plane where they can take a couple of flights to get to the destination, but it can be pricey and not financially beneficial. And they're trying to be very prudent with their cost structure and with their resources. So that's probably part of it. But they also have some MOU with Trinidad. And Trinidad seemed to be the default country because they were once one of the better teams in the Caribbean. I don't know why they don't play Dominican Republic, who to me play better ball than Trinidad nowadays, or even Haiti, frankly. I don't think Trinidad is the barometer anymore. Trinidad has regressed significantly as a country and as a sports nation. Ain't winning the Olympic medal. Their football team is not that great anymore. So I'm not sure they're the barometer in the Caribbean anymore. And I get your point, because I am not supportive of even playing Caribbean teams. We need to get outside of the Caribbean because our competition is I wouldn't say Nicaragua, but the Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica. Why are we playing those teams more? That's what we should be doing. Conrad said, flying Ravel and then playing. I don't think that was a JFF. I know that. Let me tell you something, because I know this personally. I know this. I've had a conversation about this. That wasn't a JFF. That was a coach. Don't blame JFF for that one. The coach saying, well, Ravel, so I call him out. In calling Ravel, I know play him. And the JFF wasn't happy. So, I now blame the JFF for that one. That was Steve McLaren and making a really bad decision, because him thinking that England, where money are flow, when them get money from it must be England invest from the JPL in an youth football over $1 billion. Them are generate, them are print money over a number of years, I should say. Right? Jamaica don't have that luxury. We barely can pay, we build them. Right now I come out of the red. So Steve McLaren did that. That had nothing to do with the JPL. With the JFF. That was a ridiculous thing. I'm not sure if they spoke to him about it, but he needs to understand he ain't in England. Yeah, I know there's an understanding with Trinidad. They have an MOU. I think what's his name spoke about that not too long ago, actually. So, but I think they need to spread their wings. Though you need different style of football. Trinidad is just not there anymore. Since Jack Warner got in this situation, it's not the same Trinidad. That's how you know money talks. Money and relationship talks and influence talks. It's not the same Trinidad. Very different Trinidad. Trinidad could make a World Cup now if it hits them in the head. Even if they gave them the World Cup spot, they're probably struggling to make it. It's just the country's going south, like a lot of Caribbean countries, actually. But we have the luxury of not only having some good locally born players who play overseas, but also we can tap into our diaspora. And Trinidad didn't export human capital that much, so that's why they probably struggle to identify those talent. And also they're very restrictive in terms of ancestry, in terms of who can play for their country. So, one time they were a little bit uppity in those things. And that's why they operate. They did. They had oil. They had everything. They didn't have to export human capital. Now it's a struggle. But oil is not what it used to be for them. But in the game itself, actually, it just wasn't the best look. In fact, I had more fun at the restaurant, frankly, than I had with the game. I was just enjoying the company of people there, doing the interview, talking to people. The customers were great. I had like 3 more interviews I did. I'm not sure why it didn't come up, but it was the same thing, actually, for the people. There was a Christopher Wright there, and there was another gentleman. I'm very disappointed that very, very disappointed. You know what? I'm going to try to find those interview. That those didn't pop up, because Christopher Wright was good, and another gentleman was good. Hopefully I can find it. But no, it was a good. It wasn't the best, active people. It wasn't the best. And that needs to change. That needs to change. You can't. Okay, I think I see one. You can't deliver a product. No, I think I had that. You can't deliver a product that's not fit for purpose. Not a good thing. You have to deliver a product whereby people want your product. They want to engage with the product. They want to see your product. So not totally happy about what transpired. And I'd be curious to know if you get the coach, if you were to ask the coach, was he happy with the performance? And if he was to be totally transparent, he'd be like, nah, I haven't seen anybody here who I believe can satisfy what I'm looking for. I am almost sure he would say that. Almost sure he would say that.
It's too near.
Let me see if this is it. No.
Ramping shop. Okay. I seen you ramping shop.
This thing is mute, people. I'm trying to bring this up. Give me 1 second. And this was a good one, actually. Why is it not? I don't know why.
Right. But in terms of identifying players to be on, say, the World Cup qualification team, there's definitely some work that needs to be done. He's two name. Ramping shop. Okay. I tell you, ramping shop. What are your thoughts on the game? To be honest, a little bit disappointing. I wanted to see more, but given the fact that the team was only put together in the last couple of days, maybe they need some time to gel. Right. But in terms of identifying players to be on, say, the World Cup qualification team, there's definitely some work that needs to be done. Too many turnovers, the passes wasn't crisp, a lot of work to be done.
So what do you attribute this to? Because you're saying that, in my words, technically, they haven't demonstrated what you'd expect from them. What do you think contributes to this?
The team gelling. They need to play it together more often. And obviously, I think the coach and the staff selected these players within the last couple of weeks, so they haven't been playing together too well. So they need time to build a chemistry.
What do you think the coach is looking for from these games? These two games. We've seen the first game. And as he saw what he's looking for?
He's looking for some players to take to the senior team that's going to go for the World Cup qualification, World Cup and stuff. There was no standouts in this game. Hopefully, the next game on Sunday, we'll see if there'll be more standouts. I don't think the coach has identified a solid crop of players to move to the other team that he wants for World Cup qualification. More work has to be put in.
Here's my last question. Many fans are saying that on the forward line, we're somewhat challenged. Antonio is out. Some of our players are not in form. You think any of these forwards we've seen today or playing the JPL have the attributes we need to progress to the senior team?
Quite honestly, I haven't seen it. Not from this game. Again, hopefully if they play some more games together, possibly they will gel and they'll identify some players. In addition to, obviously, goals win matches. So the finishing and scoring up front is important. But one of the biggest problems I've seen with the senior team over the last several games is lack of a midfield. You need that middle, that engine, take the pressure off the defense, take the pressure off the goalkeeper, create opportunities for the front players, and I have not seen that so far with the Reggae Boyz, and so they need to work on that.
All right, so thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right.
So that was a good interview, actually, with that fan who was there. I had one more I wanted to show you if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it and bring it up.
Well, to be honest, I see a little bit of. Well, to be honest, I think we see a little bit of what I would have expected from the first team that started, because I think the team that started were the better players, in my opinion, what I've seen in the Premier League. But I think Daniel Green, Demar Phillips, and Shanil Thomas injected a lot of pace up top, and we kind of pushed back the Trinidadians a little bit more, like we should have done in the first half. So still not the performance I was expecting. I was expecting the team to hold on to the ball a little bit more, keep some more possession on the ball. But as they always say, a win is always better than a loss. Or you know what I mean? It's 3 points if it was points. So we won the game. That's it.
So I mean, the coach expects to get something out of this game. He wants to see the players who are local. He's had 2 games to see the players. You think he's achieved anything tonight? Has he seen what you think? Something he would have expected? Is there anything for him to take out of this game?
To be honest with you, not in my opinion. Demar Phillips was there before and he got dropped, and I think he came on and he had a spark, but I wait for the second game to see if he gets a game, if he performs, and see what. Because right now I think we actually need a forward.
Right.
We have enough wingers and enough midfielders, so Shanil Thomas, Calvin, I was expecting more from him. Warner Brown, I didn't see him in the game really. So
what do you expect to see from the second? What do you want to see from the second game?
I think the team that the front 4 that finished the game, I would love to see them start the next game, along with Robina Gardner on the right back, let's see what that would bring.
All right. Thanks to Christopher.
So I wanted to give those two people their flowers because I thought they were two good interviews. As it relates to their perspective on the game and what we may need going forward, and also what the coach was looking for or didn't see what he was looking for. So we're almost at that time, people. We're almost at the 2-hour mark. Even though I said the stream may have been 3 hours today. When you get more season, you get more tired. So it's been a long evening from yesterday and a long day today trying to put together this video. But I appreciate you being here. I would say this, a couple of things, a couple of parting points, I should say. One is I applaud the JFF for trying. As I say, nothing tried, nothing done. So I applaud them for trying to put a product out there, which we're all interested in, and which hopefully will get better over time. I know a lot of people are slamming the JFF because people are very disappointed because they want to see the football. But I do think I applaud them for attempting to bring us a product and, more importantly, leveraging the fan base to monetize the product. But having said that, they also have to realize that Jamaicans are very much focused on excellence. Jamaicans are living in a world where they see excellence, they know excellence, they value excellence, and therefore the standards are high and they have to meet or exceed those standards. And I'll say this again, when you charge a premium price, like you're buying a luxury product, you want it to stand out and to be the differentiator, and the product they provided wasn't a differentiator. And I hate to say I told you so, but I did tell you so. Third, I think we'll see more enthusiasm as time progresses. Some of the people who came to the game yesterday when I was at Bellyful are ardent fans. I know a number of them. They'll go to Nicaragua, they'll go to Jamaica. Where Jamaica is playing, they'll go. We need the more peripheral fans to be part of this whole journey. And hopefully we'll bring more of those into the whole equation. I applaud Kyle for what he's doing. He and a number of groups who are having these. He has the Reggae Boyz and Girls Supporters Club, and they're doing a lot. They had a marching band also. I didn't get a chance to play that video. That was at the game. I think they performed for like 4 minutes. He's engaging with Dennis Chung and others in the JFF to really bridge that gap between diaspora and the local community in Jamaica and the local football association. So that's a good initiative on his part, and he's very, very motivated in what he's doing. So Kyle, much support to you and the team, and much respect. I want to thank Kemar for having us at the Bellyful restaurant. If you're in Brooklyn, go support the restaurant, people. Really nice locale. You can take your date there. Take your wife or your significant other there and enjoy a good meal. The food is good. It's most of the traditional meal you would expect. As you hear the lady on the stream said, the drinks are excellent. I wouldn't know because I don't drink. Right? And I'll be back Sunday from the same locations, even though, as I said before, you hear me early in the stream, the Super Bowl is on Sunday. That conflict is not the best thing to have, especially with the Super Bowl. Especially people like Kendrick Lamar is at halftime, even though I don't listen to Kendrick. I have no idea what music he sings. I know he's a rapper. I don't listen to any of his songs, to be honest. I know he has a beef with Drake. I know these tangential things, but I don't know his music or know him really well. But I can tell you I live in a box. Yes, I live in a box. And Kendrick is not in my box that I live in. But it's going to be a competition for the JFF. But I still think they will get good viewing. Because the Super Bowl will probably last till about 6 to 9, or maybe 6:30 or 6. I haven't even checked the time yet. Their game starts at 8. So they'll get that maybe the second half. People transition over. But my suggestion to the JFF is please do some test run to check to ensure that you can manage the stream, you have the right bandwidth, and people can view the product. It's not even that people weren't even focused on the commentary. They probably couldn't even hear the damn commentary because it was just so distorted. They were focused on, can I optically see what's on the field in a very good way versus the stream stop, it paused, it's slow motion. And it's exacerbated that worsened by the product on the field itself. The playing wasn't at the level that we a lot of times are not used to in today's football. So you have bad stream, not that good product. And this is not a negative against the players. They're trying. I didn't think I see a lack of effort out there. There's a lack of quality. YouTube. What do you mean, Conrad, to YouTube? What do you mean to YouTube? Isn't it under 17? You know, I haven't really watched the under 17. The young, I'll be honest, I haven't watched the under 17. Are we carrying that game? That's probably a CONCACAF game, right? So they probably don't have the rights to stream that. I don't think, actually. They probably can stream the friendlies. I don't think they can stream. I'm not sure the JFF thought about these things really well, you know. That $10, that $9. By the way, people, it's not $9.99 in Canada. It's 14 something in Canada. It's like almost $15 in Canada. Because in Canada is about 70% of the US dollar. So if I take, it's about $14 and something in Canada. So it ain't cheap. Purchasing power wise, it ain't cheap for Canadian. Paying almost $15 for a product that you can't really watch well, it's not a good thing. So I hope the JFF learn from this, and I hope that what they will do is they'll work to enhance the product. Somebody said it under 17 is on Monday, not Saturday. I don't know when they're playing. Actually, I haven't followed that up. Actually, Gang said, why people need to watch a Super that is rigged and a lot of much for money people? Nothing is rigged in America, not even the food. Super Bowl. Oh, no, Super Bowls are happening. Come on, gang stalking. People watch the Super Bowl. Well, if you don't love NFL, it would be garbage to you. Some people think soccer is garbage here, right? No, Leon, I was told it was 15, 14 something. You get 15 plus tax. What's the cost of the stream in Jamaica, people? Somebody played $16 Canadian. Wow. That's a lot of money, you know, people. If people talk about $9.99, that's not the benchmark. I thought it was 14 something in Canada because the US dollar is about 70 cents for the US to about $1 Canadian, isn't it? So it shouldn't be 16. That's about 1.5, 1.6 versus. That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, Kendrick Lamar. Okay. Yeah. I'm not. I like what I like. I was just before I came on the stream, I was in some 90s reggae, so you know where I sit, right? some raw 90s reggae duo. I was saying to myself, do dancehall people sing anything about except for two topics? You can guess what the two topics are, and one of them are gone. You can know what the other one is. You only seem like they sing for two topics. Like I was listening to like 10 songs in a row. Maybe the DJ was picking those songs at Liberty. They were the same thing with a different flavor to it. Same songs with different flavor. Like we don't know sense. We can't sing both. Say the rain a come. You know, the rain a come. Why we just DJ with the same thing 24/7, and it never gets still. It look like. But true, Super Bowl, Jamaican don't watch that devil worship. What? Hey, gangster boy, you want to play the Carlin thing again, people? People, what do you guys think about that tape I played at the beginning? You know what? Before we leave, I'll play it again. This is a Jamaican boy. I'll play this again, Jamaican boy.
Has convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a list of 10 specific things he doesn't want you to do. And if you do any of these things, he will send you to a special place. A burning, fire, mountain, torture, and anguish for you to live forever and suffer and burn and scream until the end of time. But he loves you. He loves you. He loves you, and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all powerful, all present, all knowing, and all wise. Just can't handle money. Religion.
First of all, I hear it's supposedly Jamaica has the most churches per capita in the world. Jamaica has the most murders per capita in the world. Jamaica is like the Bible. It's a total contradiction. A total contradiction, people. So those of you who take this personal, I'm like, why are you talking about The being is not a man. You can replace the man with a being. It doesn't matter. He's saying man put this together. You guys don't get the gist of what he's saying. I don't know if he's an atheist or not, but he's basically telling you something. That how are you going to tell me? So this is how I go on a tangent, people, because I'm going to close the show down. That I'm going to get burned forever. Fire, but if you've been burned by a stove, you can get burned and for life. They don't even say you're going to get burned, for a certain years. Get burned for, you're going to be in fire for the entire life, right? You're going to burn forever. But the same being going to burn you forever, who's supposed to know what you're thinking and doing, who knows everything, is the same one who love you and bring you to heaven if you do what they say. But in the Bible, the same being forgives a lot of people who did some of the bad things. And by the way, you can be saved if you repent from your sin, even from the point you kill somebody. If you repent, you're saved. What the? Let me make me one co-star. What are we talking about? Now, I'm not saying there's no omnipotent being. Don't get me wrong. But the concept of how we get there and what we use to motivate people to worship that being, that's man-made. You know what? But it's man-made nonsense. They're probably omnipotent being because I can't conceive the construct of the world without omnipotent being or beings. But don't give me the stuff you give me in the Bible and tell me about what this Moses person did who live in the Middle East. It's a bunch of garbage that I'm not buying into. Sorry. So this is where I get people who run me off of the channel and want to talk to me. I'm not buying that nonsense. You can't convince me. I will never say there's no God. I can never say none of them something you don't know. But the way we got there, are we out of our mind? Don't you know how to think? I'm going to create so much fear in your heart that you have to do this because you don't know. And then we're saying, if you don't do it, I have a family member who I can't even talk to her about these things. She loses her mind. But she go by country. She go by country. I don't know better. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna close the stream down, people. I'm not gonna go into any more tangent. But the reason why I play that twice, because it makes you think. There's some comedians who make you think. And they make fun of it, but just like the people make fun of Jamaican people who are bad service in the restaurant, there's a lot of truth to it. They make fun of it, and when you hear it, you laugh at it because it sounds so ridiculous. You know why people are laughing? Because it sounds so ridiculous. It sounds so ridiculous, you have to laugh. And there's so much fear created by the concept of God, and you're not doing what God does, that people don't even want. Jamaican people, someone who's afraid, they don't even want to think. They might be the most logical person, they leave it at the door. I will never say there's no omnipotent being, because that sounds illogical to me too, but I always ask myself where the being come from. But don't try to convince me about certain things. You can't convince me, because I use logic in my life a lot. Now, some things are not logical. Like the concept of life is not logical, if that makes any sense. There's some things which are not logical. I think life itself is not logical. Because where the hell does life come from? Where the hell does the origination come from? The wormhole is not logical to me. Right? The whole concept of, you know what? We have this black thing that will occur. Where did black come from? Because black is a color. That don't make no sense to me. So there's some things we can't explain. But please don't let me, but what George Carlin just said, think about it. Don't dismiss it. I know most of you are going to say, you know what? I'm a Christian. I can't think. But a lot of us have been brainwashed. And the people who brainwash us, they don't believe it either. It's kind of funny. The same people who brainwash us and put us into slavery, and the same people who quote the Bible about treat each other like XYZ, are the same people who enslave us, the same people who deride us, the same people who still have us in bondage, the same people who are systematic racists, the same people. You see Trump go church. Multiple one. The Christians love Trump. Them hypocritical Christians love Trump. But anyway, you could start me up. I can go off on this tangent and I could be here all night talking about it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate being here. I know somebody don't like what I'm talking about, but hit the like button anyway and share and subscribe. I think Jim Baby so things that Joe comedian says isn't a joke. No, most comedians are talking about real life things. They're not really, they're funny because you're really laughing at yourself and how ridiculous you are sometimes. Right? They're laughing at yourself and ridiculous sometimes. So yeah. Steve McLaren, try to please local see what Grammy did. Yeah, I agree, Conrad. Let me just say something about before I go about Steve McLaren, which is this. Steve McLaren There are a lot of young players, and I have a list of about 14 in my phone someplace, who have pedigree, and this was a year ago, so they're a year older, who may be able to help you. Go look at that list, go identify some of them, give them opportunity. We are very siloed in our thinking, we're very narrow in our thinking, and we're not thinking expansively to think about where all the talent may reside and how we can leverage that talent. You have the list too, McLaren. I'm sure you do. I'm sure Simon gave it to you or somebody gave it to you. Please go look at all these players. I know there are a couple of players who may come in, people. I've been heard of certain names. But to me, they're still not at the right level. I heard of certain names who are being bantered around. Something, I believe if we had people like Jed Spence, if we had pursued them real hard, like when he went to Italy, if we had really put on the full court press, you don't know what may have happened. Right now, we're not even close to like a Jed Spence, because they have to think about England, because England ain't got no left back, and he's playing brilliantly. Right, left back, to play right wing the other day. That's the thing. That's where the thought comes in, or the lack of thought come in. Quality player, a lot of potential, should be pursued. We don't pursue them. England come in. Of course, they're going to play for England. But anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate being here. See you when I see you. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. I know it's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend. And by the way, Sunday, we're back again at Belly Full Restaurant on the second floor with the game. May I come live? May I come like I am today? And T-Got, bless up yourself. Appreciate you. Bless everyone. Thanks. See ya. Cranky Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk, and it's free, yo. Cranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose, because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name, because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat, and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat, because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life. Cranky. Heed them. Want them. Heed them. Want them. Heed. Want. Heed. Want. Heed them.